you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. This is the Pisces forecast for the month of January for 2021. So I'm doing these a little bit earlier than I normally do because I need to get them out before the end of the month. I've got some stuff going on this month. So I'm trying to get these all done a little bit early. For those of you that are new to me, here's just a little bit of an explanation. So this is a broad spectrum reading for anybody with sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Pisces, or if you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Pisces. So if you have more than 3 planets, and that includes like smaller planets like, Chiron or Lilith. If you have those in the sign of Pisces, I would watch this to get a general idea as to how your January may play out. And it is a broad spectrum reading, so you have to figure out where this fits in your life for the month of January of 2021. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything's wrong or bad. It just might mean that you might be working on something different than the majority of the Pisces that are watching this. It can also be representational of maybe the houses that your signs are under or your planets are under. So that does have an effect too. So keep that in mind. If you do decide to use this video, or it does make sense to you, and you decide to make personal decisions in your day-to-day life after having watched any of my videos, please know that those decisions are your own responsibility. Always use your own intelligence and intuition first and foremost. I know that you guys will, but I have to state that. Never take anything that I say over that the advice or suggestions of a professional in their field, like a doctor or lawyer or possibly a therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost when making decisions, okay? And I just say that for everybody's safety and security. All right, so let's get into this. This first card represents kind of as the signifier for the month. So it can represent a bunch of different things. It may be something we need to focus on. It could be sort of a guidance. It could announce kind of the theme of what we're dealing with for the month. Normally, I use like an oracle deck for this, but for some reason, this deck was calling out to me for the water signs. It is from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. It isn't, oh, I guess it is, even though, okay, so it is technically an oracle deck, even though it says tarot in the name. So that's a little confusing, but it says Psychic Tarot, so I thought it was a tarot deck, but it's actually considered an oracle deck. It says that underneath that there. So I was inspired to use this for the water signs this month. So let's see what's going on here. What does Pisces need to know? Okay. Ah, beautiful. So there are chakra cards in here. This is the 4th chakra, right? Which is the heart sign or the heart chakra. The color green to me is very much in line, I think, with Pisces sensibilities. Excuse my dog snoring in the background, but he's down on the floor below the desk, so you may hear him. The green makes me think of the emotions, which is definitely the realm of the Piscean people. We love our feelings, and it's kind of how we communicate. So there could be a big focus on that in the month of January. I think that there's an opportunity here to find some truths. This being a chakra card, to me, it speaks to operating from a place of heart, from a place of love, from a place of acceptance, of really getting into that. That could mean a broad spectrum of emotions for my Pisces, right? It could be both highs and lows, but I think ultimately, this being the heart chakra card, it speaks to the idea that no matter what we go through emotionally this month, whatever we feel, it's going to be true to us. It's going to be about being connected to our own spirit and the truth of our heart. And I think ultimately in the end, that is going to serve us, right? It's going to be for our highest good at a really profound level, right? So for those of you that might have, say, maybe a bit of a more emotional January where it's a little bit up and down, that kind of a thing, the feeling that I'm getting from this is the number 4, and it being the 4th chakra. 4s always represent stability to me and kind of a grounding. So we might have to go through some emotions and feel them, sort of unearth them, process them, sit with them throughout the month of January. But as we do so, if those emotions are unpleasant or feel uncomfortable for us, ultimately feeling is in our wheelhouse. It's kind of like our superpower in a way. And so ultimately it will be for our highest good and for us to kind of maybe heal. That would be the green color that we see here, and free ourselves from anything that might harm us or be maybe outdated or no longer serving us. Okay. Ultimately, though, I love that the focus is on this kind of this space of love, this connection to spirit, and this chakra really is a powerhouse when we work with it. So I think that this could be a very significant month for my Pisces. I did do the yearly forecast, and I don't remember what was going on in the beginning of the year for the Pisces, but you may want to blend this reading with that reading over on the yearly reading and see if it makes sense. So let's see what's going on in the tarot. Hi, Susan. Hey, Jen Nichols. How are you, dear? All right, so let's see here. This first card represents as kind of where you guys are centered at during the month of January. It's not, you won't be in this card the entirety of the month, but you'll go in and out of this energy throughout the month. It also gives me insight into what you could be potentially creating for the future, okay? So this is the Nine of Wands. So this is fire energy. This is kind of not even our complement of earth. This is something new, and wands would be about passion. It would definitely connect to the heart chakra. The nine is about a personal completion of some sort. When I look at this, it's sort of like, I feel like I look at this particular design, it feels like he's kind of building a fence or a wall, maybe protecting oneself in some way, sort of trying to set up shop in a way. I kind of get with the nine, it's always about personal completion. So I think when I'm looking at this four and we're talking about stability in the heart chakra and our emotions, there might be some things that we need to kind of boundaries that we need to lay through the month of January. Some I don't want to say endings per se, but like some, I kind of get the feeling that this cat is putting this fence up or sort of protecting oneself, preparing oneself for whatever it is that, whatever changes need to take place so that we can get to where we need to go. Does that make sense? So for each one of you, that's going to be within a different situation around different emotions, right? But it's going to be about this emotional connection and this truth that is within ourselves that brings us to hopefully a better state or a better place. And the nine is about focusing on the desire and taking the action to do the work so that we can come to a state where we can continue to move forward in a way that's healthy for us first and foremost. And I kind of get a feeling a sort of a natural Pisces trait is to put others in front of ourselves. These two cards speak to this idea that January is not the month to do that for us. January is the month to put ourselves first, our emotions first, how we feel first, acknowledge and honor that no matter whether it's good feelings or bad, because ultimately when we do that and we get kind of in tune with that chakra and those feelings, the clarity for us is going to be important for the year to follow. Okay, let's look at the next card, which would be the foundation. Now, I call this the foundation because this card is sort of what everything is built upon, essentially. So it's something from the past that has opened the door for everything to be the way that it is in our lives at this time. It can also be this card or the memory of this card that kind of holds things in place or sometimes drives things into the future, right? So if we're looking or thinking on this memory, it might be affecting our actions in the now. So let's look at this. So this is the Five of Cups. All right, so there is a departure going on here, guys. There is some sort of a sadness, a loss that maybe we suffered in 2020. I feel like the Five of Cups is our home element of water, so that's a good sign. And I like that that's kind of driving us. But the only thing that worries me is that it's kind of about where has Pisces focus been leading up to January. To me, the Five of Cups is always about focusing on what's wrong versus what's right. And I mean feeling wise, right? Looking at the losses over the gains or the failures over the successes, right? And kind of getting caught up in that and not seeing things sort of truly as they are because we're too busy filtering ourselves through this sadness. It could for some of you be depression. It could for some of you be, just atypical losses. It's been a rough year, 2020, right? And so it's hard not to see the pain of others, the sadnesses of others, the losses of others, or our own losses in the process, right? And I think that we've taken that to heart in a very profound way in, say, maybe the last few months, and that has affected us. Now, what I do want to say here is there is hope here. In this card, if you look far off into the foreground, there's this path, and then there's another city, there's new opportunities, but we kind of need to get our head out of the sort of we need to really pay attention to our focus and look at what we do have versus what we don't. And so we haven't been doing that leading up to this point, but with this this heart chakra and the 9 of Wands, I feel like we're shifting that and we're becoming aware of that. Certainly this 5 of Cups to me speaks to this idea that we need to honor that, yes, maybe the past has been a little bit messy and not great, but we can move to a better future. And I think that that's kind of the hope that I see in this 9 of Wands and in the heart chakra card. Is that like, first we feel it, then we sort of act our way towards it, right? And maybe we've not felt like we can really act our way towards something positive. I feel like that is shifting with that 9 of Wands in our center and this heart chakra being our guide kind of for the month, or our awareness should be on how things feel for us this month. Now, the next card is the higher self or the spirit card. It tells me sort of what you guys should be focused on, what your spirit or higher self wants you to kind of be aware of or focus on during the month of January. I love it. So we have the Ace of Swords. Again, this is about clarity. We see a little bit of kind of emotional confusion. I wouldn't say the 5 of Cups is about confusion, but it is about sort of maybe seeing only one side of an argument, seeing one side of a situation, being captivated by what's not working versus what is, and not really understanding that maybe the things that are kind of falling apart or not working, the spilt cups, could actually be transforming us and pushing us towards something that's new and better. When I look at this Ace of Swords, to me, aces always represent new beginnings, sometimes out of the box thinking, sometimes things unexpected, right? Swords would be about clear intellectual thinking, the mind, the thoughts, that sort of a thing. I feel like there's a renewal here, and we have this victory wreath around this crown, which obviously means that we're like paying attention. We might be listening to our higher knowing during this month. Information might be just sort of dropping in through our crown chakra, hence the crown that we see here. I'm kind of getting that little hit on this card. I do like that there's an ease here, right, with this cat in this space. And I like that it is in the higher self position, this Ace of Swords. So we want our mind to kind of coalesce or coincide with whatever it is that our higher self is sort of trying to convey to us. And we want to bring that into sort of an alignment. And I think that that will be the focus, or a good focus to have, especially with this heart chakra, because when we align our spirit and our mind together as if they're working on the same team with sort of clarity, united, and that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this Ace of Swords, it also sets up this heart chakra to feel all the better throughout the month of January, and to kind of steer us away from the misgivings of this 5 of Cups, and maybe let go of whatever held us back or hindered us previously. And I really feel like that's kind of the focus that's happening here. Now, when I say let go, this could be for some of you a job. This could be for some of you a relationship. This could be, you know, and that could be romantic or platonic, but it can be a relationship of some sort that you guys have kind of known has not been working leading up to this point. There's been sadnesses, losses, just areas where they haven't lived up to sort of their part of the bargain, or something didn't turn out the way that it was supposed to, right? And we've been looking at that and been sort of aware of that. We're not going to take that into 2021 with us. That's sort of the feeling. I mean, it might be there in the beginning of 2021, but it's kind of time to transform that and change that. And it's okay to let it go, Pisces. It doesn't make you a bad person or wrong or anything. And with that Ace of Swords, to me, it feels like a decisive let go, right? The strength of that 9 of Wands is like, no, I'm good. I'm going to put this boundary up in place. You can't talk to me this way. You can't treat me this way. Whatever that boundary is for you in whatever situation in your life, this is the month to kind of really assess that, look at it, come into alignment with it, and listen to your spirit too, right? Listen to your heart. Your heart will not guide you the wrong way. Although I will say this, there's some heartfelt emotion in this 5 of Cups that probably through this last year, it's been a rough year, right? And so, you know, but how do I want to say this? Like there's truth in our heart. And I think that that's the beauty of who Pisces is. And yes, we do feel stuff, and yes, we can get emotional, but sometimes we have to feel those things for not only ourselves, but for others around us because they're just unable to. And so I don't want you guys to think that it's always easy listening to the heart. I know that it can be a struggle, and it has been, especially when there's overwhelming things that we have to face or deal with or feel. But I think ultimately it serves us to walk through them. All right, so let's move on. The next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These cards kind of have an effect on us either positively or negatively. They're not us, they are around us during the month of January. We need to be aware of them. They can be things as obvious as, say, a person or maybe an event that may happen or take place. They can be things also more vague, like just an energy that's out there that we can kind of tap into, that comes to us through experiences and things like that. Or it can be a belief system that maybe we've adopted or been taught that doesn't necessarily belong to us. It's just something that we've utilized up until this point. And we need to be aware that, oh, wait, that's not us. That's like my mom taught me that, or I learned that from my boss or from my grandma, and it's not serving me, so I can let it go. Or it's influencing me in a way that is serving me. But here we go. Let's see what they are. Okay, I love this. This is my favorite card of the deck. So we have the Star card. Okay, Star is the sign of Aquarius, which is the water bearer. The Star is very much a peaceful energy, right? The Star is about sort of knowing her own power, coming into sort of the peace after the tumult of the Tower, right? It's the card that follows the Tower in the Major Arcana. In Major Arcana, the way that I interpret Major Arcana cards coming up in readings is it means that it's a fairly significant either experience, energy that could be coming towards us. Now, because this is Major Arcana and it is associated with the sign of Aquarius, it could represent as an Aquarian. I tend to think the court cards are more people outside of us, but you could be on the lookout for some like beneficial help, guidance, wisdom from I would say a more quieter Aquarian that you might come across, right? That's for some of you. For those of you that this is more of an energy, this would be about opportunities to kind of shine and how do I want to put this? Like shine in our own truth or experience our own truth through this heart chakra and sort of reap the benefits of that through maintaining peace, maintaining calm, being true to ourselves, allowing our own light to shine in whatever situations we find ourselves in. I like that this is the Star card because it says to me that the outside influences will be gentle, kind, benefic. At least on this side of things. We'll look at the other card and see there sometimes is contrast there, but I feel like this is an opportunity for us to, if not be shined upon, we get an opportunity to shine our own truth and our own light. And that's also reflected here in what I see in this heart chakra is, if we're being a little mushy or we're being a little connected and loving on others or trying to express ourselves in such a way, I think that there's a beauty and a peace to this Star card that allows us to do that in a way that's very particular to Pisces, and people will appreciate it. They will respond to it. It's not going to be the biggest response. The Star is never about like, knocking you over the head. It's about that quiet kind of confidence. It's that quiet, clear message that everything is all right and all will be well. And I like that this is coming because I feel like for some of my Pisceans that are struggling, right, or that have been struggling through this Five of Cups energy and are really drawing these boundaries and finding this clarity this month through how they feel in their heart about a certain situation, person, or, part of their life, we need this moment of kind of peaceful recognition that we see in this Star to kind of give us a safe space to sort of do the work that's taking place for some of you that might be dealing with more complicated issues or stuff that is a little bit steeped in some history for you is the kind of the feeling that I'm getting. All right, so let's look at the next outside influence. I love it. All right, so we got the Queen of Cups. This is straight up Pisces energy as far as it's the queens always represent the suit of cups too. So we've got Queen of Cups, which is cups upon cups. So this is very much the water upon water, which is like way up in Pisces like wheelhouse, right? I love that she's also in a reclined position. She's kind of wrapped around this cat here. We have stretching itself beautifully by the water. This cat we have reclined around this sort of lamp or this light. What I love about this is both of these, there's an interesting sort of compare and contrast that I'm going to go into these cards really quick. We have the light of this star here, right? And we have the light of what I think this is a lamp. To me, it's probably the cup or the chalice, but to me, it looks like a little street lamp. So I feel like she's wrapped around it. I also love that we have the contrast of the black cat and the white cat, right? We have good and evil, light and dark. There's a balance there that's happening between these two cards. We have water upon water in the Queen of Cups, right? But we also have the water bearer in the Aquarius nature of the star card. So they're also very much cohesive, and these energies feel like they want to work together to bring about balance, which again, I talked about that in that 4, that stability and balance of the heart. Cups upon cups with that Queen of Cups would be also about her bringing us that more intuitive, nurturing, emotive sort of experiences this month, with the piece of the star card also accompanying her. Anything that we're dealing with emotionally, whether it's hard or tough, I think that it's going to be easier than what we've dealt with in the past in this 5 of Cups, right? So in the months previous, know that there will be a little bit of a respite from the sadness of it, and that I really get from this Queen of Cups and the star card that there is sorry. Wow, that was a snore there, bud. You want to wake up? Hey, thank you. Sorry, guys. I feel like there's an opportunity here to get right with our feelings, so to speak, and really own them from a really beautiful and profound place throughout this month. No matter where we're at, allow yourself that sort of opportunity, because I think that when we do that, and that's also the clarity we see here in this higher self, when we align our mind and our spirit to what's going on, and then we feel it through our heart, we're going to find that there's like I said, that there's a quiet truth there in that star that brings about a peace, that brings about an awareness through that Queen of Cups energy too, that will allow us to stay in our sort of nurturing, intuitive information and really understand ourselves all the better, if that makes sense. All right, so let's look at the final outcome for the month. And I actually, this card is called the potential outcome. The reason why I say potential is I don't want anybody necessarily living out their life for my readings, right? I want my readings to assist you and help you in what you're already looking at and facing and know about, right? So ultimately, this card is the future, but is a potential outcome, meaning that it's sort of not set in stone. It's on its way to us right now as things stand in the moment, but we can also utilize this card. If it is something negative, we can utilize this card as a warning to make choices and changes through free will to affect this outcome. All right. So it's not set in stone. But if it's a good card or it's a beneficial outcome, we can kind of take heart in the fact that it's naturally on its way to us, and we just keep kind of going at the pace we've been going, and this will sort of come to pass. So let's look at this. Okay, I'll take it. So we've got major arcana for the end of the month, and this is the Fool card. To me, Fool is also Aquarian energy. So again, we have the piece of that star card as the outside influence. The Fool begins a whole new journey, right? So what this says to me, or what I think this is about, is that the end of the month is rather significant for us, hence the major arcana card that's represented. But it's also this opportunity for new things to be built, new journeys to be taken. That idea of being optimistic and open. The Fool is the beginning of the major arcana, which is the beginning of the Fool's journey, right? Being taken through the 22 cards of the deck, the first 22 cards of the deck. So I would say by month's end, whatever we've been working on through the month of January and coming to completion, whatever sort of boundaries and action we've been taking, it sets us up for the beginning of February, which is this new endeavor, right? I do want to say this with the Fool. The Fool always has an optimism to it, and it has this sort of grace in the sense that we want to remain open to what's out there and available to us in a way that is childlike in a way, but we also want to be careful that we're not making any mistakes, or that I don't want to say mistakes. It's not about mistakes. It's about how do I say this? Like, it's a fine line in the Fool card about how we remain open and to possibility, yet we don't want to be so open that we're acting naively, right? There's always this element of the Fool's walking on that ledge, And this cat here, he's chasing a butterfly, right? And butterflies represent transformation to me. And I sort of feel like we want to be careful because he is on the edge of a cliff, like all traditional fool depictions. Usually there's a dog barking to like warn the fool when he's getting too close to the edge. I feel like we're captivated with the possibility of transformation and what new opportunities await us in the year ahead. We might have a little bit more of a clearer picture of where we want to take things starting in February, and we might be excited by the new prospects of that. With the Fool, I feel like these new prospects will be larger than, say, your normal little changes, right? So for some of you, this could be a new job. For others, it could be a new relationship. Whatever it is, and however it's sort of unfolding in the month of January, by February, we're like, oh, wow, there it is. I can see it. That's the butterfly that he's focused on, that he's looking at, right? That opportunity for transforming some area of our life or some, opportunity that we want to use. But we want to be open to it, yes, and experience it and utilize the opportunity to have it. But we also want to be smart about how we go about doing it. So don't let fear be your guide. Remain open. And remain, we're looking at him and he's dreaming about being on this pillow. I just noticed that this is a thought bubble above him, of him thinking about himself being on this pillow with this bowl of milk and having all of his needs met. So I kind of feel like Pisces gets the opportunity to maybe explore the pursuit of that in 2021. No matter how held back we may have felt in 2020, come February of 2021, the path opens up to us and we start to maybe begin to move along it. So take the peace and the calm of January and utilize those benefic energies, experiences, or whatever is, around us to kind of bring about and within us the awareness of how we feel and what we need to do, the clarity with which to think, right? And to make decisions and to put ourselves first, Pisces, like this. And there's nothing wrong or selfish about that. I think that with this Star card and this Queen of Cups on either side and this Fool as the outcome, to me, it feels like this is really okay for it to be your time. There's nothing wrong with doing that, even if somebody might be telling you otherwise. Don't listen to them. Trust what you feel in your heart versus what maybe society might be saying to you, or what, say a quote unquote loved one might be telling you, that kind of a thing, right? And open yourself up to the possibility of something better being out there for you, because it's certainly reflected in that Fool card at the month's end. 2021 could be certainly a more exciting year than maybe the one previous for you guys. All right. So that is your forecast for the month of January. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share this out with any other Pisces that might be able to utilize it. If you're interested in a private reading, you can always message me at the Facebook business page. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. For those of you that are watching on Facebook, please go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and vice versa. YouTubers, please follow the business page over on Facebook. And other than that, I will see you guys next month. You can check out your yearly forecast, which are broad spectrum 12 card readings that each card represents a month. So they're like kind of, loose depictions of what the year might hold for Pisces. I myself am a triple Pisces, like in the sense that I have Pisces in 3 different planets, in my Mercury and in my Venus, and then my sun sign is Pisces. So I'm very connected to you guys as far as I'm concerned. So, and you're, amazing folks. So please enjoy this, and I hope that it helps you guys through the month of January. And for those of you that are, dealing with the emotions of whatever's gone on in the past, just know that you've got this. That Queen of Cups, she's not going to lead you wrong, nor will that Star. Both will bring you through this beautifully. And at month's end, you will feel refreshed, renewed, and ready to take on the world and see what's out there on offer. All right, you guys, have a great day. I will be back to do Cancer next, and then Scorpio throughout today to get the water signs done. And then hopefully tomorrow, if I can get them started, will be the fire signs, and that will complete everybody for the month of January of 2021. I have done Libra, Rose. It's on the Rose Luna. It's on my either on the business page or on the Facebook, the YouTube channel. It's over there. It's actually probably the last video that's up there other than the daily forecasts. So it's the last sign that was just done a few days ago was Libra. So Libra is done. You guys are welcome. Thank you, Susan. You're welcome too. Thank you for tuning in. Please give the video a thumbs up if you're watching wherever you're watching from, and I look forward to seeing you guys later. All right, take care. Bye-bye.